Welcome to Critical Thinking Required, hosted by LBW. This podcast is intended for free thinkers, entrepreneurs, and knowledge seekers. Join us as we discuss relevant financial topics, explore with guests their financial journeys, and engage with experts in industries such as space, media and entertainment, real estate, and many more. Buckle up and enjoy the ride. Welcome to Critical Thinking Required. You're with your hosts, myself, Tim Bickmore, and my two colleagues, Dan Weiss and Nathaniel Leach. And today, it's going to be a short episode. We're going to close out the year. Nathaniel's excited. It's short. It's easy. Nice and sweet. This one you probably don't need to share with friends unless you think it's cool and funny or something. But if you want to share our podcast, our previous podcasts that we've done over the last, since 2021, so we've been doing this pretty much weekly. If you find something that you like, please share, subscribe, and just pass it along. We would really appreciate it. It helps us just get our information out to the general public, which honestly, Dan, maybe that's where we should start, is telling just a little bit of people, I guess, as a reminder of why we even do this. People seem to be asking that question a lot as of late.
Yeah, hopefully they mean that in a good context. Yeah, it's been almost 2 years now. Our first full year, as Tim was mentioning before we got on this. And some people know that we actually had a full year's worth of recorded audio podcasts before we actually launched the podcast. We redid a bunch of them, but we used maybe 2/3 or half of them or so. And we just didn't know when to launch it. And COVID struck, and we knew things would be different. Still not quite sure what they're going to look like, and decided, the hell with it. Let's just do this. And that pushed it forward. I think it was a couple episodes maybe into February or March, and then we decided to go video. And really, it comes down to least I could speak towards Tim and I. Nathaniel might feel a little different about this, but we're not writers. we don't really like to write. I'll speak for myself. I'm not good at it. But we do get the privilege to talk to a lot of people, and we love that, and we love talking. So this was a natural platform for us to actually voice some thoughts and some ways of thinking, and ultimately, we talk about this quite a bit inside the firm. One of, if not the largest surprises over the number of years we've been doing this, working in this industry, that we just didn't expect was the depths at which we have grown as people because of all of the wonderful people that we get to meet throughout the course of our life, whether it's because we're working with them or we meet them because of different connections. But it's just really cool to get to walk, even if it's for a glimpse, in someone else's shoes and see all these different perspectives and be this intimate with others, where we can really become big pieces of their life and watch them grow and change and just be there with them has just added so much value and life and just vibrance to us that we didn't want to keep it locked up. And so the podcast has been a outlet for us to share some of the thoughts. We see ourselves as academics, so we're constantly reading and talking and thinking things through, to share some thoughts with the general public that we may never get to meet face to face. And there's only so much time in the day. And then also share different people, things that we've learned, and different people that we've met that have just, again, made us better human beings, in hopes that you can experience some of that. So that's really how this podcast got going, and why we do it and why we keep on doing it. And as you know, we're pretty casual about it, but that's just a representation of us. And we want people to know, what it's like to talk to us about these things. So here you go, a glimpse every week.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, the only thing I'd add to that quick, Dan, is I think when we started LBW and why we blogged is that we really wanted to educate the public. And we do feel like there's a lack of financial literacy. And one of the best ways to, embark our knowledge and others' knowledge is to talk about it. and to spread it in a way that can be very scalable. And a podcast happens to be one of those routes. And that's the other reason why we even started blogging, and one of the reasons why we shifted into a podcast, because as Nathaniel smirks down there, he knows that I'm also not a good writer, and he also knows that I like to talk. So there we go from there. So thank you, Dan. Now, Nathaniel, I got a question for you. Since this is the end of our year, 2021, please give me your favorite podcast. Go.
I don't know. I mean, they're all good. I especially like the ones where I didn't really have to say that much because Dan and Tim said it all. So then that's the best kind of partnership there is.
Like Charlie Munger, I have nothing to add.
I was honestly hoping that I would be able to get through this podcast and that was all I would have to say.
I am surprised that you did not say, and I'll give you a freebie, that Brent Bashor's podcast. I'm surprised that wasn't one of your faves that you could pull out of the guy.
Not the one
it was a good one. The problem with the Brent Bashor podcast was that throughout the conversation, it was really hard for me to concentrate on all of this fantastic material that he was saying, because in my mind, I was going, holy shit, it's Brent Bashor. Holy shit, it's Brent Bashor. Holy shit, it's Brent Bashor. I was repeating in my head like a monotone. I couldn't, it was really hard for me to concentrate, because here we have this fantastic capital allocator investor on our little old podcast, and he's spouting all of this knowledge. And I'm thinking, I'm not going to remember any of this. Thank God we're recording it so I can listen to it multiple times, of which I already have done so, because there's so much knowledge that he was able to drop in half an hour and in such a concise fashion. It was so succinct. I couldn't have asked for more.
Okay.
And it's, it's not like he's not met Brent before too, several times over, but he still gets this excited.
Oh, totally. He's on a whole different level for sure.
What about you, Dan? Throw out your faves 2021 in review. This is your Spotify mixed playlist for our podcast.
So, looking at the guest lineup we had, we just had so many great guests. I thought Nathaniel was going to say Diane Cedar, which I love Diane. Diane's been a mentor to me, and primarily
another good one for sure.
Made about what's good for the family is good for the business, and what's good for the business is good for the family is one that we have used quite a bit. That along with also actually Bashor's comment about all businesses being loosely functioning disasters that so happen to make money. We've used that quite a bit too. God, my favorite. We had a lot of close friends that spoke, or people we've become close to for years. I mean, it's been almost 20 years since I've known Saran, and Saran came and spoke, and that was great. It's been longer since I've known Francis, and so just really excellent people that have supported us for such a long time. I really liked Jonatas. Jonatas was great to see. I thought it was extremely fascinating to go through what he would his profession. That was wonderful. So that was up there for me. But I think if I had to choose one, Skip was wonderful. I think I would go with Brian Levinson. Brian Levinson spoke about performance psychology and being present in the moment, and was fascinating. And he has his own podcast with wonderful guests, so it was so natural for him, so natural also for Katie, who spoke about the nanny business, because she does a lot of speaking too. It's very hard to pick, Tim, but I'll go with Brian. Final answer, and that's a very hard choice. Right, Drew was excellent to kick off this year. Yeah, I'll stop there, but lots of good guests. Really appreciative of all those people that joined us this past year.
All good. Yeah, I would agree with both of you. I have nothing to add to it. I think they were all great. And we had some really fun ones that came through, which is awesome. So we are headed into the next year, going into 2022. We're really excited to continue the podcast. I think it's going to take a little bit of a different turn as we just continue to just educate, talk about financial subjects and what we've learned. The last few podcasts has just been with either Dan and I, Nathaniel and Dan, the three of us. I do think that going into 2022, we will be bringing on new team members to interview, which is really, really exciting, to discuss who they are so our audience can understand who is participating within LBW, which is really exciting and fun. So that is definitely going to be a positive. And then just more continued education on what we see and what people request. So if you do have a request and you really do like to listen to our podcast, go to our website, shoot us a message, tell us, hey, we want you guys to talk about X, and whatever X is, we're happy to at least partake on some of that information. I guess, Dan, just to close us up and to go in, I don't know if we want to do a round robin or not, but you were being very festive today, obviously with your Santa hat. And if I would have to guess, I believe that sweatshirt, if you could just raise up a little bit, is to support Happy Hanukkah, Happy Lamaka. Oh, it's great. A happy Lamaka or happy Hanukkah to all of our listeners, and anything else that people celebrate within the holiday season. We hope that you had a wonderful holiday season and continue to do so. And obviously a happy new year across the board for all of our listeners. And I think I would say this for the three of us, that thank you so much for anybody and everybody who listens, watches what we do. It really is really, we are really fortunate to have such a great audience, clients, team members, and we just hope to continue to do this and hope we help people, even though we may not meet them. So I think that's what we got. Dan, thank you guys. Got anything else before we close our out?
I don't have much to add here. Just thank you for enriching our lives. So thank you. Enjoy the holiday season and be safe.
I'm not going to repeat what Tim and Dan said. I echo their thoughts. Have a nice holidays.
And that is how we're going to close out 2021. Thank you so much. And please have a great night.
Cut.
Thank you for taking the time to start your journey of thinking differently and listening to LBW talk about stuff they love. Until next time,